I'm Kevin Shaw, and you're watching the Watercraft Journal. Unless you're living somewhere where a cold front means you gotta zip up a hoodie and finally wear socks and shoes instead of flip-flops, chances are that the brisk and often icy conditions of winter are enough for you to pack up your life vest and sunscreen and finally winterize your watercraft for the next few months. One recent cold snap blanketed the Watercraft Journal's home office here in Nashville, Tennessee. Unfortunately, sheets of freezing rain the night before meant that a thick layer of ice lay below the fresh powder, and that made the roads pretty much too hazardous to touch. With nowhere to go and certain that we'd be the only ones foolish enough to venture out onto Old Hickory Lake in these sub-freezing temperatures, we decided to take our long-term test model, a 2019 Sea-Doo Wake Pro 230, out for a spin. Dusting off our old dry suit, we donned a head sock, goggles, thick gloves, and our best riding boots to bear the brunt of the below 20-degree wind chills. Although we certainly had plenty of fun churning up the completely empty lake, we did note that even our best cold weather gear simply wasn't enough to keep us comfortable against the chill. Thankfully, Sea-Doo has two new items for 2020 featured in its parts and accessories catalog that are exactly what we need to keep our hands warm. The first are Sea-Doo's adjustable handlebar deflectors, priced at $105, followed by Sea-Doo's heated hand grips, priced at just under $200. Uniquely designed to fit all makes and models of watercraft, Sea-Doo's new hand guard kit borrows heavily from its Ski-Doo and Can-Am line, designed to deflect spray and wind from wetting and chilling your hands as you speed across the water. With so much of Sea-Doo's cockpit designed to ergonomics and keeping the rider's hands planted on the handlebars, all of that goes out the window if your grip is cramping under the cold. Installing the Deflector kit takes less than 30 minutes with the proper tools, and when following Sea-Doo's detailed instructions. Thankfully, the kit also comes complete with the hardware to install it, whether you've got a top-of-the-line GTX Limited 300, a sporty RX-PX with the X steering handlebars, or even a base model Spark. Start by removing the black rubber plug covering the T30 torque screw, holding the palm rest grips to the handlebars. With the screw removed, the grip can slide off, revealing the handlebar. Before going any further, we laid down an old shop towel to catch any debris. At this point, Sea-Doo instructs to take a 1/4-inch drill bit and drill a 2 3/16 of an inch into the bar, opening up the mounting hole. Since the original hole is so much smaller, we opted to play it safe and begin with an intermediary 3/16 inch bit, opening up the hole slightly larger before using the recommended 1/4-inch bit to hog out the hole. This produces a lot of metal shavings, which you really don't want floating around in your footwells, so make sure to cover up as much of the Sea-Doo as you can before you start drilling. Next, we sprayed a little XPS penetrating oil into the handlebars before hand threading the new plastite torque screw supplied in the kit. With fresh threads cut into the hole, we slipped our factory hand grips back on and installed the black plastic clamp support with the torque screw at the recommended 35 pounds per inch. Finishing the deflector installation, the angled arm slips into the shield and is tightened together with the supplied torque screw and a T25 torque socket. Attaching the clamp to the support is as simple as tightening the cap down using the supplied torque tusk screws and a T20 torque socket. Wait to tighten down the truss screws all the way after verifying that the shields won't make contact with the fairings when turning the handlebars to their stops. Once they're set to your liking, go ahead and tighten down the clamps to 22 pounds per inch. Since we had the heated hand grips left to install, we removed the shields, clamp support, and factory hand grips and began our next step. When dealing with anything electrical on your Sea-Doo, always start by removing the seats and disconnecting the battery, starting with the negative terminal first and then the positive, as per BRP's detailed instructions. Next, open the center storage lid and remove the 10mm screws fastening down the front cover. The front cover slips forward, revealing the wiring harness for the handlebars, gauge cluster, and if equipped like our Wake Pro 230, the accessory harness for the BRP premium sound system and USB charger. Since our grips were already removed, we went ahead and removed the handlebar pad. It comes out easily by simply pulling down to release the two bottom tabs and then by pushing up, freeing it from the handlebar. With the pad off, two 10mm screws holding down the left and right control covers are revealed. With the screws removed, the covers come off pretty effortlessly. The steering neck is shrouded in a two-piece clamshell-like cover, held together by 8 retaining tabs. These need to be unsnapped using a small flat screwdriver or similar tool. A longer screwdriver is best used to unsnap the two tabs on the underside of the cover. Finally, use a dental tool or jeweler's screwdriver to pop the key connectors at the front of the cover. This will free the top cover to be removed. Now we could install the new heated hand grips, following the steps from before, installing them with the new clamp supports for the deflectors and torquing them down to the required pounds per square inch. Next, we had to feed each grip's wiring connector through the open portal in the steering neck. It's tight, but won't require any tricks to feed them through one at a time. Because access to the wiring harness can be tight, we took the extra step of removing the gloss black hood cover. This is held down by 2 torque screws and makes routing the wiring a little easier. We laid out the harness for our heated hand grips loosely, carefully mapping where we wanted to route our wiring, connectors, and fuse so they wouldn't interfere with the steering controls or other accessories. Speaking of which, since our seadoo already had its accessory port occupied by the USB charger and BRP premium sound system, we had to order the supplementary extension harness to allow us to use all 3 accessories simultaneously. The extension harness interrupts the harness for the other accessories to provide a secondary terminal where we could plug in our heated hand grips. With our wiring laid out, we began to zip tying down the loose harness, carefully trimming off the excess slack where we needed to. Then we needed to retrace our steps by installing the steering neck cover and hood cover. Yet, before we could finish up, seadoo requires that you drill out 2 small reliefs in your accessory covers to let the loom for the heated hand grips pass through. Although we used a pneumatic grinder instead of the suggested 13/64" drill bit, the result was the same. With these properly notched, both covers were installed, as was the handlebar pad, front cover, and the hand shields over the heated grips. Finally, the rubber end caps and battery terminals were reinstalled so we could review our work. The heated grips require the engine to be running to operate. Simply press and hold the button on the left-hand side grip for 3 seconds to turn them on. The heated grips feature 5 heat levels, with the LED light indicating which level you're set to. Blue being level 1, green level 2, yellow level 3, orange level 4, and of course red being the highest at level 5. Pressing and holding down the button for another 3 seconds will turn the heated grips off regardless of what level you're set at. With our Wake Pro fully outfitted with the new hand shield deflectors and heated grips, we thought it best to put them to the test by joining the Middle Tennessee Personal Watercraft Club's New Year's Day winter ride. Although the club was set to meet at 9 a.m. sharp at Flipper's Bait and Tackle in Gallatin, Tennessee, we decided to set in at home and ride the extra miles through Old Hickory Lake until reaching the rendezvous point up the Cumberland River. From there, we joined up and headed east, winding up the river that brought French fur trappers and early American frontiersmen to the wooded west long before the American Revolution even began. These early pioneers and mountain men used many of the caves that pockmarked the limestone cliffs as camps between trapping beaver pelts and trading with native tribes. About 20 miles east, we veered south into Spring Creek, aptly named for a narrow creek fed by a natural spring. We followed the winding path all the way to Coles Ferry Pike, a narrow bridge marking the end of the line, that is, before bottoming out. From there, we wound back up to the main river and continued east a little further before nearing Hartsville. Riding alongside the northern face, we discovered a narrow pocket in the cliffs hiding a secret waterfall. Recent rainfall accounted for the cascade, and each of the group took a minute to idle into the cove and check it out up close. From there, we ventured a little further until reaching the Highway 231 bridge, where the Link fuel caddy was emptied into the seadoo's tank, and we grabbed a quick snack before doubling back toward the launch at Flippers. While outside temperatures hovered in the high 40s, wind chill was still a major factor, and without the heated grips and hand shields, we'd be in a bad way. At the beginning of the ride, we had toggled the grip setting to red, the highest option. That quickly proved uncomfortably hot even after a minute, so we toggled back down to yellow, the middle setting, and that's where they stayed for the rest of the day. Typically, extreme cold gets our hands and feet hurting pretty quickly, but not so anymore with these new accessories from Sea-Doo. Now it looks like all we need are a good set of cold weather riding boots. I'm Kevin Shaw, and thanks for watching the Watercraft Journal. If you liked this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. It's the best way to help spread the word and help grow our audience. And between videos, make sure to check us out at www.watercraftjournal.com, where new articles are published entirely free to you Monday through Friday.